So if the course of our lives is already written, so it's mapped out before we're born, where does the whole free will and choice thing come in?
Great question. Answering it in a minute or two is next to impossible. And mine's much better than mine. I've tried to answer this question. In many respects as well, we're making a lot of assumptions that if the decisions are being made within the time we are, and God has created them, then we have no say. It's called determinism. It's almost as if we're determined how to live, so what's the point? God's called it as it is. There's different approaches to the question. For one, God is not in time, so God stands back from it. God created time, created space, so he sees the whole spectrum from the beginning to the end. So just to have a flat statement to say he's determined what everyone's going to do within it, I don't know, maybe for some that's a bit too far. Maybe it's clearer to say actually he knows exactly what's going to happen at every single point. And he's never caught off, he's never surprised. Now, does God then have a say in creation and do have a part in it? Of course he does, because we know that through Jesus. He incarnated and came as a human being. And we know through the rest of the Bible text, God has a part in his creation. So he does have a say in the will, he does have a say in the way that things go. And we know from the Bible text, by the end, his will come to pass. How that plays out in our decisions every day and what we do, massive question. What I would say is not to get so much hung up on it, but to realise that God does have a will and a way which is always better than ours, and to seek that. And not to walk around thinking there's no point, because you have a decision to make. God has given you choice, and he did it from the beginning. Also to realise the gravity of it, because we had choice right from the beginning and we made the wrong choice, which is why we had the fall and sin. So we have to realise the gravity of what God has given us and just use it to the best of our capabilities. I'd probably give that as an advice for the question. The question in itself is a very hard one to answer because it's from God's perspective. How do you do that, God? We can't get our heads around that. But God is God. And somehow our will and his sovereignty, which is usually what is that question, if he says what goes, we've got will, then how does that affect his sovereignty? That's usually the problem. I can't unpick that right now in a minute or two. Even if I had an hour or a year, I wouldn't have time. But that would be my answer to that question.